Now we're going to take you inside the dark web.
A CBC News investigation in Calgary this week explored the world of illicit drug sales online.
Overdose, East Hastings Street.
This is what the front lines of the opioid crisis often looks like. But the sale of deadly drugs is increasingly moving from the street to the dark corners of the internet. Here, drug users can secretly purchase what they need using special browsers and software that conceals who's buying and who's selling. The investigation reveals drugs arrive by mail, unwittingly delivered by Canada Post to customers like 17-year-old user Liam in Calgary, whose family has no idea how deeply he's in. CBC News agreed to use a fake name in order to protect his identity. The story, though, raises troubling questions about how to stop access to illegal drugs online, but also ethical questions for the journalists involved. Do they have a responsibility to get Liam some help? Reporter Reed Southwick worked on the story.
So, Reed, let's begin with the story and what you found. Give us a sense of the range of drugs that could arguably be delivered to your door.
So I started, for the purpose of the story, I looked into one particular market called the Dream Market, which right now is believed to be the largest online marketplace for drugs and other illegal products. And over the course of the few weeks that we worked on this story, there were literally tens of thousands of listings of drugs available around the world. And looking at with the products that are available within Canada, which suggests the dealers live in this country, there was roughly around 1,000 listings. As recently I looked, there was around 1,300 listings of drugs available here in this country, and there's a huge range, and that's one of the surprising things that I came to realize when covering this story. It goes from cannabis to meth, cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, which is causing a huge problem here, and even pills that purport to be Viagra.
And you know, I think the story also does a good job of showing the real impact of that. So you have as a central character here, this 17-year-old who you've chosen to call Liam, who's having stuff delivered to his home. He, by his own admission, has a drug problem that his family doesn't know about. He's still a kid, though. He's 17.
For sure.
What did you decide journalistically about your obligations to him?
Well, one of our biggest considerations was whether or not this story was in the public interest. And there was a considerable amount of thought that went into this, and we discussed it as a team on a number of occasions. And the consensus was that, in fact, yes, this story is in the public interest for a number of reasons. One, the police say that the drug trade is increasingly moving to the dark web. And that is a fact that needs public airing, we felt. And another issue is that this is a very unreported area of the drug trade. And we felt that people at home, families, needed to understand how easily available these drugs are and how easily accessible. Now, of course, as you say, we understood that Liam is a teenager. His parents are unaware, as far as we know, about the extent of his drug use, and we had to have a conversation about that. About was it the right thing to do in order to include him in this story? And of course, he's the central character. He's the person who introduces us to this whole world, but at the same time, we had to consider, well, his parents don't know, and one condition of his speaking to us was that he doesn't want anybody in his personal life to understand the extent of his drug use.
And do you have a sense of whether he does now understand the gravity of the world that he's in, and is he getting some help?
He does realize, and that's one of the reasons why he wanted to talk to us, because he felt that this whole world needs a public airing. And so I was very pleased to be able to include us at the end of the story a good news aspect that he is seeking help. We do keep in touch over text, and of course, yeah, he reassures me doing much better.
Glad to hear it. It's an important story, as you say, but it illustrates yet again how complicated some of these stories can be for journalists as well. Thanks for talking about it.
Thanks for having me.